Fempreneur Friday is a conscious entrepreneurship community and a safe space where consciousness meets cool in divine feminine celebration and where we align over hustle.
Think about it as your own delicious happy hour for the week. It is a live, raw, and real community conversation with us, your girlfriends.
I'm Brett Sims, an entrepreneur, artist, and the founder of the global art nonprofit Step Designs.
And me, Stacey Wigiseria. I'm a mom, author, esthetician, self-love coach, and founder of Exalted Home and Beauty. We are here to elevate in the community and connect with you all. If you're ready to take your spirituality and business to the next level, join us.
Got another Friday. We hope you guys are, feeling good, doing good, feeling uplifted, feeling some energy on this Friday. I think we're both feeling a little tired, to be honest, today. A little all over the place, but we are here, showing up nonetheless. And that's really what's important.
Yeah, showing up. Gosh, right? That's actually what we're going to be talking about. In today's episode about the secrets to happening and loving. And you know what? It's like embracing the down and moving through, right? Like there's a lot of things that you just can't avoid. And I think even our last conversation kind of left up with like surrendering to what is actually the moment and getting as much as we can from here, allowing us to get to the next phase.
Right.
And,
exactly.
I know.
Exactly. And actually that leads me into, I remember like earlier, in our earlier episodes when we used to go live, I used to pull from a lot of my quotes, a lot of my books. And so I decided I'd do that again today. And I've been recently, just because of the state of the world and everything, I've been diving more into like my Buddhist studies. I've just been making sure like, I don't know, I'm listening to like the Dalai Lama speak or somebody like within the Buddhist community too, because it really adds a lot of calm to my life. So I have this book also that I pull from daily, which is 365 Buddha. So I was going to read a little message, the message of the day. And it says, actually, emptiness of mind is not even a state of mind, but the original essence of mind, which Buddha and the six patriarch experience: essence of mind, original face, Buddha nature, emptiness. All these words mean the absolute calmness of our mind. So really this just means that like the ultimate, state of mind, emptiness, is absolute calmness. And from like that place of no mind or emptiness, that's where we can create the most from. That's where we can create most abundantly from and peacefully from. And when we have like an empty mind or no mind, like we are at peace because like, our minds are still, if you have kind of evolved in consciousness so that you're, the watcher of your thoughts, then, that makes it kind of like clear, like that when you're the watcher of your minds, you're the most calm and peaceful when the mind is still. There's like almost no thought in it. So I thought that was really like grounding for today, and it really set my day on a really, just calming vibe, because it's like it reminds me to just keep emptying my mind when I have like chatter, when I have thoughts of doubt, when I have thoughts of like, where I am, if it's good enough, if I'm doing enough, whatever it is. And then I wanted to pull one more thing from my Self-Love First affirmation deck from Step Designs. And the card that I pulled today is hold on to yourself. And I think that that's really important. I think we're in a really, really crucial time of self-love and empowerment right now. And if you're not putting yourself first, then things are probably a little bit off at this point. Mm-hmm. And I think that also we kind of confuse, like self-love, putting self-love first as like a selfish thing or a narcissistic thing. But when you're really conscious, you understand that self-love is really, it's not like that just being obsessed with yourself or being super vain, but it's really like falling in love with the light within, like the light, which is what you are, and then falling so deeply in love with that you clearly recognize that the light within you is also the light within somebody else. Like the light within me recognizes the light that is within you. So anyway, those are my two polls for the day, and that's kind of how I start my morning off. You know, like I try to start off on a good vibe. I usually either do these polls like before or after meditating, and yeah, it makes me feel pretty great for the day. So let's talk about habits. And I think I'm going to call this episode New Habits, Who Dis, you know, like, because I think
I like that.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, once you do get in that flow of really changing your habits, you can transform into, you know, a totally different person.
But so happy we're talking about this topic. I think for me, the last couple of weeks, we were talking about adjusting and watering where we're at, and also surrendering to where we're at, but also we were discussing how sometimes we're getting the things from outside, all the things that we need, love, admiration, looking for success, and all the other ways. And sometimes what I know for me, what I was kind of missing and developing is actually also developing a lot more inside, in home, watering where I'm at, also taking the time alone, right?
Right. Alone time is so key.
Yeah, like unfortunately not engaging with all the different things, and really diving deep within, because that's where we can really create the things that we're wanting to create, right? Like an artist is so great, like you can imagine, but imagine without the time to actually doing their art, right?
Right.
For developing, for me, like learning is always fun, but when is it actually that I'm developing and actually producing? You have to kind of take that time separately to do those, and getting more and more real about taking the time to do that, I think has been really crucial. And you know, I guess where I'm at right now too is showing up is the first part.
Yeah.
Staying even in commitments, whenever we're talking about like even just the diet or fitness, all the things, like what we're doing right now is really just staying committed to what it is that we're wanting to do and showing up. So I think that's all really important as far as that.
I think so key things in starting, I would guess, like habit changing is really like, I guess, showing up, because you have to show up, you know, with this desire, with this will, with this passion to want to change your habits. And then I'd say number two is, like you have to start being okay with being alone and being on your own and doing things alone, because I think that what's really toxic right now is like we're in this society where like people like judge others for like being alone. Like being alone is like something that's like anti-society or something. Like sometimes, you know, when I don't know, if I'm like say I'm like at a restaurant, like, or I want like to get a glass of wine alone, or like at a bar alone, or I want to go to the park and just, you know, maybe the park's not a great example, but because people are alone at the park, but but you know, say I'm getting a drink alone at a bar or something, you know, I feel like if you just are sitting and just like vibing out, or like sitting, you know, just watching the scenery, sitting by yourself, like just observing, people will look at you like there's something wrong with you, like what's wrong with you, or like you're like ditzy, or like, you know, because you're not doing something, you're not like, you know, drawing something, or you're not like, sometimes I do draw at a bar, or sometimes you're not like looking at somebody or talking to somebody, but if you're just in that present state of just like sitting and just like observing or whatever and alone, it's like this social thing where people, I feel like, think there's something wrong with you. And it's like you have to embrace, you know, aloneness in redefining like habits, which redefine, you know, your life, your flow, your workflow, everything else, you know, like by embracing that solitude. And I think because when you embrace that solitude, you know, become stronger in yourself and your self-love, and then thus like your personal authority and your personal power. But so many people are afraid to like do things alone. And I think even with me, you know, just taking time on my own as an artist and taking more time to, you know, like finish really, you know, detailed paintings, to finish oil paintings, etc. Like my career
you got back there, girl. Like, it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of my new pieces that I've been working on. But it just takes like, thank you. Time to really, hone in on like say you want to pick up new skills, say you want to hone in on detail. You have to really like embrace that alone time. And it's so hard when people are kind of like judging, like, well, because I've got so many like, hey, do you want to do this, hey, do you want to like go out, hey, even like we're for dating or whatever, like, and people just not understanding, like, yeah, but I need to be alone right now, like I need to I need this time to paint, like, and then people think that that's just like like that's she's just doing like a painting hobby today, or she's but no, this is my craft, and my craft requires alone time to cultivate. And no matter whatever your craft is, whether it's like business coaching, whether it's in sales, whether you're a CEO of whatever it may be, you have to embrace that alone time, because that alone time is also investing in yourself, investing in your craft, pouring into yourself, and filling up your own cup a lot of the times. And so I think that like that stigma of aloneness as something bad really needs to be broken, because it's something that should really be celebrated, because it aloneness opens gates and opens doorways to more social experiences ultimately. But first you have to like really hone into yourself, your inner healing, your inner state, your inner awareness, and then like and skills that you want to craft and cultivate. We talked about this a lot last week too. That was a lot.
That was great. So I guess even part of doing the podcast, and even part of coming on here, is also to just be really real. And I love what you're saying. And at the same time, just noticing where that hasn't always been the case. And also even more recently, like when you can't do that, or what, and I shouldn't even say can't, just haven't, right?
Right.
Like what you do, you really notice the difference. So I like to speak from personal experience, not just like, oh, this is what's happening, but
right.
For the last 2 weeks, I can't say that I really had the alone time.
Right.
I'm like, have I even had an hour to myself? That's probably the case. But actually, yesterday I got a chance to get a wellness, which was a massage, which was really, really good.
Yeah.
But okay, so
wait, and I should say
what I'm bringing.
That like it's easier. I should say that like in a non-judgmental way I say these things, because like we have two different experiences. I'm more solopreneur, you're more mompreneur, which is completely different, and it's completely more difficult to acquire these like spaces and pockets of alone time when you're a mompreneur versus a solopreneur. So I just want to say that.
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, that's so great that we're even talking about it, and even showing like the differences, because that is a challenge, right? Of just like, how do you create that space for yourself when it's not as accessible? And there's different levels, right? Different levels to what you're able to do, also what you can do with money or whatever time, leveraging, right? Having other support. And not just because I'm a mom, does that qualify me to not take care of myself, right? So, and also, there's so much grace. I think that when I was looking on as someone that was single, or looking at other moms before, I can even attest to some judgments I had of like, oh wow, like, when I'm a mom, that wouldn't be the case, right?
Like, I don't have all this.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like she doesn't really take care of herself anymore, or whatever. And I noticed my own judgments, and then my own judgments of myself when that is not the case, or when I haven't got there. So it's a real experience. And at the same time, the only thing that I can do is keep learning, right? Keep trying to do better, and notice when I'm not doing that. And sometimes, does it call for that? Yeah, I get that, right? Like there's definitely sacrifices I have to make, but there's also places that I need to grow. I do need to continue to grow with asking for the support that I need, or creating stronger boundaries. And for me personally, it's so hard to have a boundary around someone or something that I love, right?
Right.
So for example, too, especially.
Me too.
Yeah, time. Well, I guess that could be the case, right? And like, if there's something that I want to do, like eating with Keelan at night, right? is it like, okay, you know what? He enjoys this. He's crying for me to do this anyway with him, right? Like to sit down next to him and eat, or to have my husband sit down with him and eat, which is totally fine, but he's crying for me, let's say, at that time.
Right.
Do I just like let him cry for me and go wash my hair for 2 hours?
Right.
Or just sit down, eat with him, enjoy that moment for an hour, and then knowing that I'll wash my hair when I'm done, but then by then I'm really depleted and tired. So,
right.
You know, those are two hard decisions in the moment to make. And then I think like, okay, forget it. I can do it, right? Like I can just be with him. Like, wouldn't I want my baby to not be crying? Yes. Wouldn't I just want to sit down with him? Yeah, I'd rather be doing that, not my responsibilities in a way. But although I know that, let's say if I don't do my hair, that's how I'll show up for the next couple of days, right? So it'll also influence what's happening the next day and the next day and the next day, as opposed to just taking care of it and maybe being available for him even more for the next 3 days.
Right.
So,
and I think
another challenge for us women. Right?
Yeah.
So not everybody has that challenge. Not everybody takes so long to do those things. So,
well, I mean, I don't know. I think we, as women, like the whole process of, doing your hair, getting like all the tangles out, detangling, whatever, especially for Black women, like,
Exactly.
That's a process. It's ritual.
Not every woman, they're like, okay, for us, we just going to take longer to do our hair. It's just the case. But, meaning that everybody has an individualized outcome. Some people are living with parents that they're having to take care of. People are living with elderly parents. People are living with children that they have special needs. Like
other
there's
relatives.
So many different things that we have to deal with and live with. And I think that everyone is really forging their own path. And the more that we can say out of here is like, okay, no judgment. And then also at the same time, how can you continue to expand? How can you continue to, and even in conversations like this, actually help me as we're having the conversation, because I know that also as a leader, there's that for me to find out, because I can share that and be authentic about sharing that with my clients, and as I'm continuing to evolve as well.
Yeah. And I think also like when you're having to do these things, these like mundane tasks, and getting those done, and then trying to like juggle your business as well and everything, I think a great practice is trying to put as much presence into each of these things as possible, because when you meditate first before even beginning your day, it's like you set the day on that calm vibration, you set your child on that calm, you set everybody else you interact with on that vibration. And then I feel like if you continue each of these activities within your day with just all your presence, like you just give each thing all your presence, then each one of those things, it's like it creates like it creates a little bit more space, and each day it like creates this little tiny more like centimeter of space, and then it's like but that's how expansion works. And then one day you look back and you're like, wow, these like activities that like I used to dread or whatever, it's not like I'm like yeah, laundry, but it's like I can be present, and I can like maybe like turn on a great movie while I'm doing this, light some candles, make it like an experience, make it more fun, make it romanticize it, even if it's like mundane. And I think that that's like a way you can kind of trick the mind almost into embracing new habits. And I think it's so easy for the mind to the mind likes comfort, the mind likes what it knows, the mind and the ego. And I think that it's so easy to revert back to like, oh, let me procrastinate on this, let me handle that later, let me put myself on the back burner, this and that. But it's like, if you can make these self-care activities, if you can make these like tedious work activities like filing papers, filing documents, whatever it is, if you can like play some, vibed out music, play some binaural beats, like make something, make your environment more vibey, whatever it might be, then you can add more presence and positivity into each activity, and thus creating more spaciousness, thus creating more room to really hone in and hold on to like these new habits, no matter what it is. Like for me, maybe it was like in 2020. I remember just not, I wasn't getting up early enough. I just didn't feel excited for my days when waking up. I would dread waking up, dread getting up, dread because I was also like working a remote job plus my other work. And so it was just like, pulling energy from me that I didn't want to, have exerted from me. And I was just not in a positive place. And that's when I started really, because I meditated since about 2014, but like every day since 2020. And that's just, it's brought me to such a different space. And so like my habits that I wanted to change were waking up early, meditating, and then, and diving into my workload, drawing, painting every day. But then I also have to do my nonprofit computer work and all that stuff. So I've been like figuring out, how do I divide that out? How do I balance that out? So, like more work at my co-working space, because being around people sometimes helps, pull that in. And so, and then it's just like, once you master and get down one habit, it's like you just kind of build on top of it, and you like try a little bit more and a little bit further. And so like for meditating, I didn't just jump into it and like, meditate every day. Like, woo, that's easy. It's been a really long path. And you start with 3 minutes a day if you can't focus. Maybe you start with 2, whatever it is. Then you go up to 5, go up to 15. Now I meditate for 30, 45 minutes per day, and I like it. I enjoy it, but it took me a really long time to get there. And I think that we have to give grace for habit changing to build and grow as we do, because sometimes we're in this quick pace society where it's just like, all right, like I expect to be, all right, great, I'm a meditating pro, learn that, great, what's next?
Right,
and it's next? Just not how it works. Be here now. We're now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Even hearing you, having gone through those different pieces, and also I guess what we can sense is not everything just changes tomorrow, right? You can't target all the things, get everything clean, those are all things, but really just picking something, possibly even weekly, that you're going to target that week and continue to build upon what you're doing.
Right.
And what I'm hearing from you is momentum.
Yes. Yes, you got to pick up the momentum.
Yeah, like you really, if you're starting with one thing, it'll continue to go. And I think even for me, it's showing you guys like being real about just like the down, my eyebrows, the way it's looking, like just showing up.
And you always think these things, but you look gorgeous all the time, and you're like, but it's
Thank you. I mean, we feel more than different. Actually, look, I'll put my nail closer to the screen.
And mine aren't done because
mine
get paint all over them usually.
Yeah, and then it's some of our standards. Casey, I was talking to Casey. He was just like, we get our standards.
Her brother.
We get the things that we feel that are must, and then we keep on raising our standards once we've like hit that level. And I think
vibration.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And like as we raise our standards, it's like our vibration rises. Right. We can hold more light. Oh, that's what I was also been thinking about this week. I'm in a lot of different or I'm in 3 different, I should say, Patreons by spiritual teachers. And this week, a lot of the talk, because everyone is kind of on the same page, but there's just this talk about, more light is entering the planet, like more light codes are coming in, which is, creates a possibility for more manifestations to happen, more abundance to happen, whatever. But, if you can't really hold, if your body, if your mind, your soul aren't aligned, you can't house these new light codes, these new blessings that are coming in. And it's so your vessel has to, be expansive enough to be able to hold on to these new gifts, these new blessings. If you can't do the basic things, like having a cleansing shower and maybe meditating or doing what you need to do for yourself daily, then how can the universe give you even more blessings? And so I think it's and then also if your vibration is not high enough to really be receptive to more joy, more good, and then be gracious for that which you already have, it's you don't have enough light within your system to house any more good. So a lot of them are just at this point kind of just saying it's really important to be the vibration that you're seeking, be these blessings that you want in your life, and to and I think we just have to really get grounded and really just be aware of like how we're tuning into our self-care, what we're doing, because it's easy for me too to just get into like, you know, a painterly mood of like not getting all dolled up, and like I have paint on my face and everywhere, and like my hair's not done, and I don't want to talk to people, and
and then you don't want to show up for like a, you know, a meeting that's just randomly.
Oh, that's the worst.
Imagine somebody calls you, right? Yeah.
So and then I'm like, I don't even know how to pick up my phone because I have pain in my hands, and what am I gonna do? And then I gotta
exactly.
And so anyway, but I think that like, you know, we have to learn to kind of balance all these things and integrate like new lessons and new habits, and you know, when we're working on building habits, I think we're already kind of flushing more light into our system, flushing more high vibration into our system, which creates more. But yeah, habit changing is not easy. There's a book.
I was going to show you too. I know at least this is going to be for our viewers. You know, those of you that are on the podcast, we also have it live on YouTube, so you can go ahead and see this there. But let me share this with you really quick, because even exactly what you're saying, all my computer stuff. But this was a study done by Dr. Emoto that's all over the place. But as you were just talking about what we're doing and saying to our words, I love this, right? Mm-hmm. Because the same thing you were saying, like what can we allow in our bodies, our mind and spirit, when we are talking, even more positively to ourselves. This is the microscopic version of the cells within the water, right?
She's pulling up a PowerPoint now if you're listening.
Yeah, water under a microscope. Molecules, I'm sorry, not cells. So this is water molecules underneath a microscope. How it looks like when these are being spoken into the water. And imagine we are more than 60% water.
Yes!
So as we're looking at what's happening, like compassion, thank you. If you check this out on our YouTube, it's like, it looks like beautiful snowflakes. Like they're just gorgeous. And
so basically, like this is a study, like you know, abuse. Are you speaking this to the water, or are they?
Yeah, speaking into the water.
So they're speaking into the water, and then like, you know, these things, they look like snowflakes almost, but it's like, yeah, water moves with the vibration of our words, with the vibration of how we're feeling with you know, the energy we are exerting. So if you're exerting like compassion, thank you, wisdom to the water, like it looks like this beautiful snowflake, these beautiful you know, shapes pop up. But if you're saying things like, I'll kill you, you fool, stupid, who knows what it is.
That's the example of the second row, and it's just showing, it's more jagged. It looks
rancid. It looks rancid.
Yeah.
And then that's crazy, because that's the energy that you're exuding within your own body when you're like, oh my God, you're so stupid. Oh my God.
Exactly.
You
and I love this visual, because it reminds me also of just like, you know, breathing, taking the time and going back and allowing for this other thing, love, to really occur right within ourselves. Because also imagine this bottom area we're talking about, it just seems very confusing, like chaotic, like there is no creativity or also love, or imagine no new ideas that can be in that space.
Like
really this other
what can grow there? Nothing.
Exactly. So
and that's how you can feel like, like you feel that like gross kind of like energy in you when you're in a low vibration. And this is not to judge, because we all get in very low vibrations. We can all get caught in those like nasty, negative, low doubt spirals, thought cycles. But like, what's, you know, our responsibility is our ability to like respond is, you know, to pull ourselves up from that, to pull ourselves out of that. And that's a habit too.
It's so hard to think about it as, okay, you know, like, okay, I'm feeling this down and I got to pull myself to better, right? Part of what helps me personally is just thinking, okay, like breathing and just like, what am I supposed to be getting from here? Because you can start compiling the negative thoughts, which actually just creates more resistance, or moving through, okay, like what's here for me now, right? And just like what's the next best thought, as opposed to I'm not going to jump from not feeling well to feeling like I'm sunshine, right? And you can't. And I think I used to try. I would put on the smile, put on everything else, but no, like today, you know, like that's kind of like not my energy.
Yeah.
And what's my energy is actually I'm like having just so much gratitude for this moment, gratitude for the conversation, processing the last couple weeks, and at the same time being a mama. And just gratitude for this moment that will not come back. So I think I also inspired, like these are things that I can really pull from, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit higher than even just not having had a conversation. But looking at Brett, she looks gorgeous today.
So do you.
She looks gorgeous. But I really love the painting that's in the back. It makes me know and remember that, wow, she's like really living in her gifts, and there's time it takes to do that, time to make that,
because it's
that product. But then having it, it's like no one could ever take that away. So the time and space that we give to the things that really are our gifts that no one else can do, right? Like I know
like the other side.
If someone gave you the same hours or however it took you to do, about how long does it take you to do a project like that?
This took a couple months. I think but I didn't, because it was a real project of presence, because I was like, oh, this is going to take so long, but like I'm gonna just let it take the time it needs to take. And so the days that I wasn't feeling doing it, I just didn't do it. And then the days that I was feeling passionate about it, I did it. And I gave myself, for the first time, I feel like in a painting, just grace to like move with the flow of that, and instead of like forcing myself, like let's get this out, let's get this next one out, let's get this to the gallery, let's do this. Like no, I really just took my time. And so it is a part of that process, like seeing how like this little tiny detail can become this and can grow, and then ultimately can be in a show and create it even more. But yeah, so I think like it just really took a really long time to like hone in on the details, and then also to just be like, well, like just what's just inside me that needs to like come out right now, needs to like be expressed right now. And and that's kind of like what I came up with. I started it around like Gemini season, as I'm a Gemini, but this whole process of oil painting for me has been a new one, because I used to do more so like acrylic, which is really fast, quick, easy to dry. But oil is like a long time. It takes a long process. It takes a couple days to dry, and you have to do many layers. But it's a practice for me, because it's like life is like that. Life takes a long time. Shit takes a long time to dry. There are many.
That's what I was gonna say too. It's just like if someone gave me those same couple of months to come up with that product, girl. Of course, I could not produce that.
But you can produce your own stuff.
Yeah, I could produce your own stuff. But that's what's so cool is because like that's your gifts. That's your gifts and what you are like you're called to put out in the world. So that's what's so unique. And I think you said it perfectly. Just to even wrap up our conversation, what we're talking about is that's how life is, and like living into our gifts gives us so much more than not only the thing that we're producing, but also that reflection of, wow, this is life. There's so many other places that I can move in the same way and have something really beautiful at the end. And it's part of the process, right? Like that whole process is, now we see it, but it was the process of doing it that really made the difference.
Yes. And I think a huge takeaway is, like, I'm so geeked out that you showed the water molecules slide. But I think that, you have to just make sure that while you're in this phase of habit changing, which is, the ultimate like internal transformation, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to give yourself love. And it's really hard to do that. And I was gonna say, when I'm feeling super low, super depleted, like I don't know how to get up again, for me it's really even hard for my mind to just start cultivating positive thoughts again. And because it's just really also because of like how I grew up, there wasn't any positive thoughts within the home, so I've had to like cultivate them internally. But when you are super depleted, it's really hard to do that.
Yep.
So what I did in this past year or so is like record my own affirmations, which actually in the episode before this, I recorded a version for this podcast of conscious entrepreneurship affirmations. So listen to that episode.
You know what? This is so good. Good.
Yeah, but that's what pulled me. It's pulled me back up from, really low feeling days or moments or whatever it is, or even workflow downs or whatever it may be, because then I can just, like, when I'm not feeling necessarily strong enough to do that, it's like I still can pick myself back up because I've recorded these for myself, and like I put, and then I can just tune into my own voice.
I'm glad we're having this conversation, and also that that I'm feeling low. No, but you know what? Actually, I'm proud of myself. I'm just going to toot my own little self here, because the thing is, prior to, or usually what the case is like, I don't show this. I know to Brett, yes, this is, luckily she's one of my best friends. I'm able to come to her when I feel like this, but for the most part, it's where I show up less.
Well, me too.
And,
the same way in that.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that. And also even just social media, I haven't been as present on social media lately.
But it's gotten weird.
And it's gotten weird. She's funny. But also there has been so many moments of lows, and that I've just, picked myself back up and talked about those times. And also, I love that I'm experiencing it to a different level, right? There's different degrees and different challenges that always are going to come. Okay, there's Keelan swinging a pillow. But why I think it's so great to even just show as we're moving through something is that a couple weeks, that might not be the case. And now you're going to see kind of firsthand of like how I'm moving through things.
How we're growing.
We're growing, yeah.
And then grow with us, and you're invited to grow with us in that, because I think that's what, we want from this. We don't want this to be like some culty, like click like community.
Yeah, or that's what we're doing, and not showing you that there's actually the other side too, and there's also hard moments, and there's also the down, and we're saying these but also practicing, and also showing when the practice is. So the one thing is, like, there is the knowledge of it, and I always talk about this, like, there's the knowledge of it. Like, I know the things that I need to get done, and I know the things that I can do, and I also know how to move past what I'm doing. But just like in the oil painting, it's not like I can just start going to run tomorrow. I know that running is going to help me, because running helps me, like, it's something that I'll go to. But today, actually, I don't feel like running, and that's okay. Like, today, I think, like, I'm going to do a lot more rest, and I'm just going to...
I've been so tired.
Yeah, allow myself to indulge in nothing.
Yeah, you know what? That's so important.
If I get that moment, the first thing that I want to do is do nothing, and then allow myself to kind of just breathe and get back on some type of momentum. So I think like running will be the next thing for me, because just getting my body moving, I feel will start helping. And gosh, doing my eyebrows. I think already always starts helping, but I think just like those small things of just taking a longer shower, getting a rest is going to help. And then the second thing that's on my plate is just starting to run, besides all the different things that I've got to move throughout the day. So those are some things that I'm going to take from even just our conversation, even being able to talk about it, being intentional about my space and the space that I create, honestly doing nothing, and then moving into some movement in a couple of days.
Oh my God, that's so hard.
I'll share with you next week how that's going,
Yeah.
Also, some things are ending. So I know I'm taking over here, but also some things are ending. I'm moving my coaching with I have been working with Danielle Leslie and her team. It's been a great experience as far as hosting workshops, working with other entrepreneurs that are scaling their business, either scaling from 5 figures to 6 figures, 6 figures to 7 and 8 figures. The conversations I have been able to have, I'm so honestly grateful. I met this judge who works in New York. She's Dominican, and started off with cleaning homes, honestly. Like, she came over here cleaning homes, and she's like, she couldn't speak English. Nobody would give her an opportunity. She didn't speak English well. And you know what she said? You know what she said the other day that gave me chills? She was like, they used to, call me basically stupid, like she didn't think that she was intelligent at all. And now those same people call, you know what they call her? Your Honor. And I was like, hell.
Damn.
Yes. I was like, damn. So that is a whole, so much inspirational conversation that I've had there, and I had the honor to lead. And now I'm kind of changing. I may be still with the team working with their high level clients, but it's what I've been doing and we're running the daily workshops is ending today. So that's kind of bittersweet. I think that's part of also just like letting go. We're always like shedding off old skin and coming into new skin. And that's all that's happening in my world right now.
And I was just lastly gonna just say that I had to rest a lot this week, and it was not comfortable for me because I just wanted to be on go. I wanted to get a lot of other things done, but my body was like, no, you gotta rest. And it's really hard for me to do that. But once you do embrace that rest, like Stacey was saying, I think then you can and you really do just chill out, let your mind chill out, and really embrace that rest. Then you can open up that new space, that new door for more to come in and more clarity to come to your mind. Those downloads that you're waiting for finally can come in because you've respected your body. You loved yourself enough to take that time to rest in between honing new habits, new skills, new tools, new tips. So yeah, I think that's it may be it for today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm laughing too now because Keelan was watching my phone for a second, and now Myth just called him, and he's like, I don't see you, and they're trying to see each other. It's super cute. Okay, well, thank you again for tuning in. That's a little taste of what's happening in our world, and also some inspiration as far as moving into what habits are really start building momentum. So have a great Friday. Thank you.
Hone into new habits. Start today.
And we look forward to sharing with you next week.
Yep. Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Also, check out our companies to support your ascension and to give back to underserved girls through art and self-love.
You can check out more on me, Brett, and my art, coloring books, and self-love affirmation cards that will support you on your own art and self-love journey, relieve stress while giving underserved girls of color the gift of art. Follow at Stuck Designs, that's STUK, on Instagram, or visit stuckdesigns.org.
And you can check out more about me, Stacey, at exalther.com. There you can find out more about my book, Exalt Her, 12 Ways to Unleash Your Unstoppable Beauty. It's about being more of who you are from the inside to out and sharing more of your gifts with the world. I host workshops and coach one-to-one around aligning with yourself, your life force, and your legacy. You can also find out more and follow us on Instagram at exaltedwoman.com.
Happy Friday and have a great week.